let's stay with that story now, because, yeah, Elon Musk did buy Twitter for $44 billion. And joining me now is the co-founder of Wikipedia, Jimmy Wales. So let's see what he has to say about it. Hi, Jimmy. Thanks for talking to us this afternoon.
Hello.
I mean, if you had a spare, what, £35 billion, would you have bought Twitter?
I'm not sure I would have. I'm not really sure what his plans are for it, nor how he, expects to earn a profit there. But it certainly is an interesting thing to observe, for sure.
Yeah, so as a business deal, does it look attractive? Where is he going to earn his money?
Well, I mean, I'm afraid that he's recognized that there's something quite dreadful about Twitter's business model, which is that the more aggressive and sort of hideous and horrible the site is, the more addictive it is, the more outrageous it is, the more traffic they get. And I believe he'll probably try to increase the traffic to Twitter by bringing back Donald Trump, who kept them in the news every day for 4 years, or more than 4 years. And so I don't think there's going to be much good for society that's going to come out of this one.
Well, Elon Musk begs to differ because he says free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated.
Well, it's true. Free speech is a fundamental and a bedrock of democracy, but free speech has to take place in an environment that's conducive to sharing ideas and thoughts and understanding each other, not overrun by trolls and sort of violent, sort of useless discourse, which is what too much of Twitter is. And I think if you take the view that speech is incredibly important and shouldn't be made illegal, you also have to take the view that we need to construct spaces for speech to flourish in a healthy and positive way.
And you don't think he will be able to do that, do you, with Twitter?
Well, certainly the early indications are that he's not aiming in the right direction, if you ask me.
Why, though? Why?
Well, I think if you just sort of take an absolute free speech approach and say, oh, we wouldn't block anybody, that's clearly not going to work. People can be abusive. They can be there simply to disrupt conversation. And certainly on all my projects, including WT Social, WikiTribune Social, where we're trying to build a new type of social network, but at Wikipedia and everywhere else, we encourage robust and healthy, thoughtful debate, but we do that by making sure we have a safe environment so that people can really express themselves in a thoughtful way. And basically, not everybody's there to participate in a positive manner. They're there for whatever reasons, trolling, state-sponsored sort of propaganda, etc. And so unless you control for that, you don't really have free speech. You've just got a cesspool of noise.
In terms of regulation, will he run into problems there if he does try and throw all the rules out the baby out with the bathwater in terms of that?
I mean, I think it's not clear. I mean, in the U.S., of course, the First Amendment protects all kinds of speech, as well it should. Whether he runs into trouble in other parts of the world, that's a very good question. But I think it's also too early. I mean, to be fair to Elon, he's a very smart guy. I'm sure that he's going to put together a fantastic team and they're going to really put some thought into this. But I think the problem may be harder than he realizes.
Do you think that's how he operates? Because you could be forgiven for thinking that Elon Musk, the richest man on the planet, he says it himself, right? In 2017, he tweeted, "I love Twitter." So he looks at it and thinks, let me buy that. And then, makes a few jokes of it online. But actually, he's looking at it from a purely business angle and thinks he can make money out of it.
I assume so. It's very hard for me to know, to predict that. So not sure what he's doing, but, we're all along for the ride, I suppose.
Do you think it would be, a lot of people are saying, oh, Twitter will be the next MySpace, it'll be obscure in the next, couple of years. Do you think that's its future or definitely not now?
I think it's entirely possible, but it's very hard to predict. I think he could very well double the traffic by allowing a lot more noise and outrage and possibly causing a lot of damage to democracy and the thoughtful marketplace of ideas. Or he could potentially find that people are fed up with that and people start fleeing and looking for alternatives, which is what I hope we'll see. But we'll see.
Well, Trump himself has said that he's not going back on Twitter. He's got his own social media platform, hasn't he?
Trump says a lot of stuff. I think when he sees the size of an audience he can get when his own platform is basically dead in the water, he'll be back. That's my prediction.
How hands-on is Elon Musk when it comes to running a company? You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, we're terrified of what he's going to do to the platform." But is he really going to be hands-on when it comes to Twitter?
Well, I think that's a very good question. Certainly, one of the reasons Twitter has suffered, in my view, over the years, that they've had a sort of tradition of a part-time CEO, and I think that's problematic. I mean, Elon is known for being extremely hands-on. Certainly at Tesla, reports of him sleeping on the factory floor, trying to turn things around and meet factory deadlines. So if he chooses to do so, he may really, really dig in deep here. But he's got a lot on his plate. I mean, he's got Tesla, he's got the Boring Company, he's got his space stuff. It's hard to imagine how he could really devote the kind of time himself personally to be hands-on, which may mean he's just going to hire some fantastic people, and that could be very interesting.
Yeah, he's about as eccentric as he is rich, isn't he? Jimmy, thanks a lot for talking to us.